This has got to be one of the worst animated films I have ever seen, and that's saying something considering the fact that a lot of the people that I went to school with, their first year animation projects look significantly better than this movie. Yes, okay, I'm in my living room. The acoustics in here are great. Hi everyone, I'm Joe. Welcome to my channel. It's just horrible you're here, isn't it? But I'm glad you are. So this movie has haunted me for years, and now I'm sort of qualified to critique it, so I'll be doing that today. For those of you who don't know, I am a 2D animation major. I am in my second year. My expertise is in things like story building, story writing, animation, specifically in the 2D field. So when I say that I'm knowledgeable, just know that this information is in good hands. And if you see me looking down every now and then, it's because I took a whole crap load of notes. These are all of the notes. This is everything. So I'll get into it. What's Up, Balloon to the Rescue is the movie that I want to be reviewing and recreating today. Originally, it was a 3D animated Brazilian film that came out in 2009 as a mockbuster. So mockbuster films are basically lower budget, poorly animated films that are meant to ride the coattails of other more successful blockbusters. And in the case of this movie, it's meant to mock up or, ride their coattails. Really, it's just so if a random old lady's sorting through the bargain bin, she's like, oh, this is the movie with the little family and the house in the sky. And she doesn't realize that it's not that movie. And that's how they get their money, is by people generally being confused by their box art between that and another movie. So what upsets me the most about this movie is that if it had more time and effort, it probably could have been its own thing. And the thing is that it already had pre-established characters, because this movie is a sequel. So apparently also in 2009, they made a movie called Little and Big Monsters, and that was their attempt to rip off Monsters vs. Aliens, another film made by DreamWorks. So the whole premise of What's Up follows this group of monster hunters slash scientists, I guess. So the main characters, you have Dr. Zooks, who already has an established character personality. It's not really much of a personality so much as it is he's often the voice of reason. At least in the last movie, the Little and Big Monsters. Other than that, he really doesn't have a purpose as a character. And then you have Dr. Crumb, who is the other main scientist. And I don't know, from the last movie, he's kind of had a bit of an ego death, because he was kind of this like mean, cranky old man, but now he's just kind of like clueless. I don't know what his problem is. And then you have Gunto and Amanda. They're Dr. Crumb's niece and nephew. So the two are okay characters, I guess. But the movie has this weird thing with Amanda where, like, I don't know, she has so many subplots in this movie. It's really weird. One of them is creepy as hell, and I'll get to that in a minute. And then the reason why I really wanted to recreate this monster of a movie is because you have two of probably the worst characters ever. So I'll put a warning here throughout the rest of this video, is that it brings up very horrible stereotypes, both racial and cultural. Feel free to ditch this vid if you're not comfortable with it. You have the villain of the story, Jean-Pierre de la Croix, which is a horrible name, by the way. He's a walking stereotype to most Parisians, and at worst, most French people as a whole. And then you have I like this character as a character, but I hate everything he stands for. He's like the hero of the movie, but the whole thing is that he's like a walking stereotype. It's horrible. Let's get into the main plot, or lack thereof, of this movie. And by the way, I am watching it dubbed in English since I don't speak Portuguese. So to start off, I guess the viewers are supposed to be watching the celebrity news show with the character Gunto, and they bring up Amanda. And this is the thing I was talking about, is that weird focus on her.
Maintaining her habitual discretion, Amanda avoids direct contact with the press and says that her only true love is science. However, insiders say she's been seen flirting with an actor in the local high school musical.
I don't know personally if there are two kids that are being fostered or brought up by these amazing scientists. I'd cover the other kid in depth too, but whatever. Again, if I had it my way, they'd talk about both Gunto and Amanda. Like maybe Gunto's this star baseball player at school, and Amanda's this, you know, winning STEM championships, doing school plays, extracurriculars type of girly. In my personal opinion, she's like 16. I would probably stay out of her dating life.
What junk? Why, look at that stupid stuff. Venus is a bore.
Also noticed that Gunto is a bit of a mean brat. I like that. I really want them to keep it because it makes him an interesting character. Like, he's got pizzazz and he's so clearly like immature. Maybe a cartoon he likes is on, and that's why he spats over the remote with his sibling, like most siblings do. Another thing is Dr. Crumb and Dr. Zooks have such a weird dynamic.
Well, one of its most nefarious features is it can, for example, hypnotize the entire world.
I think that's enough.
It's almost like they want to be tall, fat henchman duo. I don't know. If I could change anything about who they are together, I'd probably make it so Dr. Zooks was a little more nervous, like a Luigi type character, and Dr. Crumb would be this extroverted and out there yet still kind of mean guy, so that way it makes it more reasonable for Dr. Zooks to be that voice of reason. It's a much better dynamic than whatever that was.
I've been to the beach a few times, and I wore those Bermuda shorts.
I know, I'll never forget the time we climbed up the sand dunes and camped out.
I wasn't gonna say it, but maybe they're more than lab partners. They're love partners.
Excuse me, pardon-moi, is this perhaps the home of Monster Chaser?
Uh-oh, there's Big Papa. Okay, so far, there's nothing wrong with this character. People can have accents. In fact, it makes for a really interesting character.
I'm Dr. Crumb. It's my pleasure. Would you like some tea?
No, merci, I'm French, we drink wine.
But that, not okay. I was gonna wait until the end of the video, but I have so much to say about how I could rework Jean-Pierre. For one, his name sucks. So in France, multi-syllable last names with the whole Delacroix thing is not so much as common as it would be in somewhere like Mexico, or maybe even very rarely in Korea, with surnames like De Leon or Songjin. As you may see in, like, you know, some last names, you're very rarely gonna get a last name with like multiple syllables. Sometimes it's even in like Dutch last names. Naming a kid Jean-Pierre Delacroix is like naming an American kid John Smith Hamburger Helper. It's just like not working. So personally, if I could rename this character, I'd name him Pierre Johannes, because it's got this kind of strong sounding, like brave type name, which matches the whole plot point of this character, but at the same time it still keeps that very French name base.
I just saw you flying on the television, up and down, and I came right away.
I also hate his introduction. It's so bizarre. Like, again, if I could revise him, he'd probably appear later in the movie. Like, he claims himself to be an adventurer, so I don't know why, if they already plan to go somewhere, why doesn't Jean-Pierre, I don't know, call them on a payphone and lure them there, or meet them in the forest like Carl does with Charles Munson Up? I don't know, whatever, man.
Free the Amazon of this terrible cave-dwelling monster.
And you, mon petit, what is your name?
Amanda?
Ugh. I hate this plot. I really hate this plot. This is what I was talking about earlier, where there's this really weird romantic subplot between Amanda and Jean-Pierre, but it's so clear that he's like several years older than her. This man is probably like 35 and she's like, what? She's still in high school. That's weird to me. That's so bizarre. I don't like it. So again, if I revised here, I would definitely have it be where Amanda looks up to him as a fellow man of science, or, you know, just like really idolizes who he is, as opposed to finding him attractive, because it's gross. I can't.
You arrive there, you'll all be in for a little surprise. I can't wait to hypnotize as many people as possible.
You don't have to have the villain explain what it is that they're trying to do. I think one of the most effective things to do is like maybe he stares out the window and just gives a little smirk where no one can see him, but it looks like he's just, you know, exploring the sky. You know, he's got a little, I don't know, if it was my way and he called them on a payphone or whatever, give them maybe kind of like a Kubrick type stare, and it's like, well, at first I thought it was fine, but now I know he's up to something, but like I don't know what that something is. That keeps the viewers interested into watching to the end because they know something is wrong with the villain, but they don't know what.
Monster is horrible, and you're going to find out just how horrible. And is working perfectly.
If it were me, I would have the cave be more of a vertical descent, so that way he could block them off with big rocks or something, because the whole dynamite thing is too cartoony even for this movie.
My turn to put the whole world to sleep. Le Vendeur!
Okay, one thing with the Jean-Pierre not being able to say lavender thing is a little funny, considering the fact that my French teacher, when I was first learning how to speak French, was from Lyon, France, and because of it, he didn't know how to say the word squirrel. It makes for a funny moment, so it's absolutely allowed to stay, but the whole hypnotizing thing.
Lavender!
The guy with the hot air balloon comes out of nowhere. Like, if it were me and my animation team, I would have it be where maybe he like spots a wild boar or something and tries to hypnotize that, or just some random person in the middle of like nowhere is weird. It's weird. He's out in the boondocks and he's like finding this random guy on a hot air balloon.
Pierre, great! That French croissant is probably in a luxury hotel taking a bath after this little Amazon adventure, and goodness knows he needs one.
Yeah. You see it too, don't you?
Grab the energized rock of the laboratory to save the cave when it fell and exploded.
Oh, you saved me, my hero.
I'm not touching that one either. They have this plot where they try and steal the hot air balloon off of the guy that just crash landed or whatever. That's so stupid. Just take it out. The house was already flying fine as it was. What do you need the balloon to stabilize it? It was already flying. You don't need that.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, bro.
So this scene lingers on for like way too long. And if there are any lingering shots, they shouldn't feel so empty. Like, I would have it be where like maybe townsfolk are starting to notice like, oh my god, there's a big monster on the Eiffel Tower, or, you know, maybe there's just like people scrambling, running, screaming, instead of just this weird lingering shot. Also, why didn't the house just go around and like land right there? Why did it have to like go around in a full circle and get on the other side? You can't kill a monster unless you're on the right side of it, folks.
Like a candy, you know?
Did he just drug him to spend time alone with his teenage sister? Okay, there are several ways that this could be revised. Maybe Gunto gets tired of Amanda gushing over how cool it must be for Jean-Pierre traveling or something, and he's like, I'm tired of this, and then he leaves. What? Also, the closeness between Jean-Pierre and Amanda is so uncomfortable. She's like in high school. I think if it could be revised in any way to make it more palatable, I'd probably have it where like she just asks a bunch of questions like, oh, have you seen this? Have you ever seen this natural phenomenon? OMG, this must be so cool. And then Jean-Pierre like humors the question just to gain her trust, because I think that plot is actually pretty strong.
Hey, want a cookie? Hold on, let me see if they're okay. Yeah, they're really excellent, all right.
Scene of Gunto taunting the monsters is a little like unwarranted. I could see it being funny if it was like a long-standing thing, like a kind of Tom and Jerry sort of thing, where it's like they've been going back and forth with little dumb things for hours. But like for him to just keep going in and out of the house, oh my god, I sound like my mother. It could be a kind of like funny little humorous breaking apart the plot, or him to just keep going in and out of the house messing with the monsters the whole time. It's like kind of weird, and it's really distracting.
You up to something? Why don't you obey me for once in your life? Go to your room this instant. I don't want to hear any more of your back talk.
I love that Amanda is kind of motherly to her little brother. It shows off their dynamic really well, especially because they're being raised by their uncle and not like two parents, so she kind of takes up the motherly role. I really like that.
Junky camera made in China. Battery dead already.
There's our boy. So this is gonna be the guy that changes everything, but as you've seen, I have to give another really big warning for racial stereotypes. So this character introduces himself, and for one, Amanda thinks that he's Japanese, not Chinese, and when he says his name is it still feels dirty saying that. But as I'll be able to show, this character isn't one-sided, so he's pretty interesting. Like, if you strip down the racial stereotypes and actually gave him, like, I don't know, character building as you would if you had a character, like a genuine, long-lasting character, he's so, like, I don't know, there's just something about him. He could be so interesting if you just got rid of all of that. Also, I don't want to keep saying his name because it feels like a slur. So I'm gonna give him a new name. I really like the name for this character to be Young Lei. It's kind of boyish yet courageous sounding, and I'm assuming that this guy is pretty brave yet curious, so I think it fits. So from now on, I'm gonna be calling this guy Young because I don't want to call him by that name. It's gross to me.
I think it's best not to tell the truth to your Uncle Amanda. Everything will be okay, and nobody will get hurt. Anyway, he'd never forgive you. Whew, I'm going to have a nap.
Okay, he low-key manipulates her. Kind of keep that. Wait, hang on. That sounded really bad. Okay. I promise you that the reason I say that is because it makes a way more interesting villain. I kind of like the idea of Jean-Pierre, like, love bombing Amanda, because it makes him even more of a villain. And that's what villain, when you think of the word villain, it's just an evil person. And like, are you evil if you're not manipulating? As we've seen with his whole character traits, so sometimes I wrote here that he can be a bit headstrong. I like the idea that he executes, but doesn't necessarily act. I love the idea that instead of calling Amanda like my darling, my little Amanda, I like the idea that he'd call her something like Madam Scientist or Bright Brain, but still like grumbling through his teeth and grabbing her by the like face and being like, "You shut the hell up about what you saw. I'm gonna beat your whole family's skulls in." Like, be mean. That's what a villain is. A villain is mean, and like sometimes you really have to be out there with it, even if it's like scary. It's like, okay, but they're the bad guy. You're not supposed to be rooting for them, so like don't make it easy for you to root for them. But yeah, it really makes for a perfectly hated villain if people like, I don't know, Jafar or Ursula. Like, manipulation is key with a villain because that's how they get their way. The whole thing, like I said, with the whole I need a nap, that could easily be dropped because it doesn't have the amount of irony that you think it is. He could easily just be like, shut up, and then just like walk away. Like, it makes him look inconspicuous and she's the only person who knows what's going on. Now that's irony. So in the next clip, it literally almost like cuts. Like, the transition sucks. So, and like, it just goes from like the two, like Amanda and everyone talking or whatever to like quick Gunto. It's like, no. I mean, if you want to bring that plot back, whatever, but like exhaust it earlier on and then allow the movie to be serious when it has to be serious, because I can't count how many movies have ruined their plot by like in the middle of a serious moment just like cracking a little quip, and it's like, this is really distracting from the plot. Also, I don't like that Gunto calls our young Chinese guy gross.
He didn't even say anything when I showed him the cookie.
Did you try showing him a fortune cookie? That could work.
I hate this stupid movie.
Happy?
We put sleeping pills in your tea. Oh, Uncle, I was blind. How could I be so silly? I just wanted to know him. I really wanted to go to Paris. He called me his petite Amanda. I was smitten.
Right. She kinda ate. Not only is this probably one of the most well-voiced and well-executed, like, lines and little scenes in the movie. Like, for a moment, the animation kind of ate. Like, this, I don't know, like, it had this moment where it was like the movements were pretty fluid or really, like, understandable. I was like, whoa, this is kind of like, this is, you're getting there. You have the idea. You're not executing it well, but you got it. You got spirit. That one little one, she ain't that. It strengthens the plot like crazy, for one, and two, it's witty. It's got the little like moments of like, I hate to say this word, but like quirkiness. It's got enough of the humor that matches with the plot. It's just so well done. I don't know. I love it.
Blow kisses.
For context, I get, okay, so Jean-Pierre finally figures out how to say lavender, and the only reason why Gunto is not the one hypnotized by the rock, which I guess has hypnotizing powers or whatever, is because he's wearing glasses. The thing is that it was so sudden, because for one moment he was wearing the glasses and the next he's not. I don't like that. I think it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. I think it would be awesome if, because he like is this immature little kid who, the reason why Gunto didn't get hypnotized is because he was so busy doing something else, or he wasn't paying attention, that he wasn't looking at the rock. I also wrote here in my little scrap notes, Jean-Pierre tells Gunto to blow kisses. He's a little boy, question mark. But yeah, it's kind of true. Like, I don't know. Out of all the things that you can have someone do for you when you're like hypnotized, like give me your wallet, tell me your bank information, just anything, you tell them to blow kisses, tell them to dance for you or something, tell them to tell you a joke.
He was running for my car.
I guess that's where all their budget went. This scene with the monsters walking around goes on for way too long. And at first I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. They all realized that they could just go around the little portal in the floor. That was kind of funny. But the thing is that it's really poorly executed. Like, I don't know, why couldn't it have been that like maybe the portal was pretty small and maybe it gets bigger over time before it like collapses in on itself, and because of it the monsters are pretty big and they can just walk over it. That would still have the same effect, but the whole walking around thing in this empty landscape that's supposed to be the Amazon jungle is just like really poorly done. Also, Gunto calls young Beijing gross.
Give me some Muku Gai Pan when we get back to the house.
Jesus Christ. Well, at least he notices it too. And then Gunto uses the camera that has a flash to knock everyone out of hypnosis. That's fine, I guess, but like, I think it would have been better if he used water or something. The movie calls to an end. Yay, it's over. No more pain. And Jean-Pierre tries to convince Amanda to let him out so they can live their lives together.
Amanda, chérie, get me out of here. We can go to Paris.
But there's like literally no acknowledgement of him saying that. I don't like this plot point. I think it's weird and creepy and gross. And two, if I could have this whole scene plotted out, it would be really kick-ass. It would be like where Jean-Pierre's like, Amanda, please, you've always been such a smart girl. Do what's best. You know, I'm sorry for what I did. I am. But, you know, I know a bright brain madam scientist like you has the heart to let me out. And she'd be like, yeah, I'm not falling for that again. That would be so cool. I would love to see something like that. Instead, the scene just like changes and it's like, hey, that character just spoke. You're just gonna not pay attention to it? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So at the end, Amanda and Gunto have this like really cute sibling moment.
Oh, Gunto, you'll always be my second greatest superhero. And the cutest one of all.
But like, this hoe bag never apologizes for yelling at her brother. Like, oh my god, there was like no acknowledgement of the fact that earlier in the movie, she was like, I don't wanna hear anything else out of you, get out of my face. It was never like, if I had it my way, it would have been like, you know, hey, I'm really sorry. Like, you noticed this issue with Jean-Pierre before even I did, and I feel bad that I yelled at you and I didn't even listen to you. And then they hug it out because that's his sister. So like, I don't know. But no, she just never apologizes and they never acknowledge it. And not only that, but like, she's just like, oh, you're my favorite little guy. No. He didn't want to be some little guy. He acknowledged, like, in the start of the movie, he was like, I'm tired of people not even knowing who I am. Like, I'm a member of this team too. I wish he would have been like, you know what, the more you grow up, the better of a monster chaser you're becoming, and I'm really proud of you and I love you. But no, I guess we're not getting that.
I want to introduce you to my new boyfriend, Chin Ling, the cute Chinese gentleman.
Hello, everybody.
So this is a ship that I guess, shit, this is the canon moment. This is cute. I do like this. Not only that, but he's like significantly like younger than Jean-Pierre, which makes it better because he's probably the same age as Amanda. But also Dr. Crumb makes a comment about her dating someone smarter than him, which is another horrible stereotype and generalization. And I think he could have easily been like, well, if you like him, I love him, but that's my niece, so, you know, I've got my eye on you. But like, he had to say that? Why? It could have been better if he just shut his fucking mouth. When the movie ends, we get to see Jean-Pierre upset because he's in this empty-ass monster void, and monsters won't even talk to him. But the thing is, like, we could have given him an Eggman moment. Like, he could have fallen down this portal for almost endlessly into this new world that he doesn't know anything about, and then he's gotta crawl his way back out just in time for a sequel. Actually, don't make a sequel. I've had enough of this goddamn movie. But like, I don't know, we can give him an Eggman arc. I'm just saying. Since this is over, the movie was horrible. It had moments where I was like, it was kind of funny. But then again, I have the humor of like a 5-year-old, so I don't know. But yeah, so what I want to do is I want to take 3 scenes that I thought were, I don't know, pretty interesting, maybe about 2 minutes in length or something, and I'm going to revise them in a storyboard format. I'm gonna see if I can get some friends of mine to voice the characters, if they have the time. And I'm gonna see, like, what would this look like if, you know, it was made by someone else, if it was storyboarded, if it was revised. So I'll get help with that, and then I'll bring it to you guys to present towards the end of this video, so stick around for that. But before I do show these clips, I do want to say thank you so much for watching this video. It is my first, and I'm really hoping to add this video to my portfolio to show what I'm capable of, and that I really like challenging myself, and I really like watching movies and see maybe where other people may have went wrong and where, you know, things could be fixed. But I do really enjoy revising story plots because I love writing stories and I love world building. So I'm definitely gonna have to see if I can do more of these. If you enjoyed this video, thank you for watching. Feel free to come back again soon, and I'll see you then.
Oh, I miss the beaches in San Francisco. We camped under the stars and ate nothing but a can of beans.
And you love those shorts I wore.
They looked good on you. Oh, and the sunsets I just...
Ugh, but that's not traveling. That's just a few miles. The world is bigger than that, Uncle Crumb. Amanda, what is your problem? First you're sneaking around the house, now you pack up to leave, and it's not safe outside. I'm worried about you.
This doesn't concern you. Matter of fact, go to your room. I'm tired of your dumb questions. And don't come down until I tell you.
But...
No buts, you little brat.
Fine. I hope you get crushed by a building while you're at it.
Wow, what a convincing mascot costume. No one back home will believe this. Oh, sorry. Am I blocking your view?
Oh, no.
I'm young. Need help?
Oh.
Up?
Oh. Yes, please, thank you.
What's wrong, Miss Brightbrain?
Mr. Johannes, I'm starting to regret leaving my uncle out of monster hunting. It's all just gotten so much worse, and I...
Madame Scientist, if you so much as tell your uncle about what we did, I'll make sure this house falls out of the sky. With you in it.
Oh, God.
Amanda, please. You're smart. You're a smart girl. The next Madame Scientist. If a bright brain like you had any sense, you'd help me.
Yeah, no. I'm not falling for that again.